What does all of this mean for battleground Pennsylvania? Joining me right now is CNN host, political commentator, and Pennsylvania native, the one and only Michael Smerconish. I don't know what you've got where you are, Michael, but I've got a DJ DJing the polls here at Ben Salem High School, which we're going to have throughout the morning. But you are also in Bucks County. Talk to me about where you are and what Bucks County represents in terms of Pennsylvania and where it could be headed.
Okay, Kate Bolduan, welcome to my hometown, Doylestown, Bucks County, Pennsylvania. This is the county seat. Behind me, the iconic County Theater, where I'll have you know, in high school, I saw the movie Slapshot 12 nights in a row. My buddy was the ticket taker. Bucks County, as you know, is the most purple of the Philly burbs. If it all comes down to Pennsylvania, it's all going to come down to the Philly burbs. Donald Trump has lost this county twice, but by different margins. If he can keep it as close or win it as it was in 2016, it'll be a good sign for him. If the margin out of Bucks County is as it was in 2020, it's problematic for Donald Trump, and it's good news for Kamala Harris. What's interesting is that the county is shaped like a rectangle. You're in Lower Buck, which tends to be dense and Democratic, and the further north you move, the more rural and conservative it becomes. Where I am in Doylestown, my hometown, where I was born and raised, is really a purple area. And as I say, this is the purplest of those collar counties. So if you know what's going to happen here, you have a pretty good insight into how this all turns out.
Yeah, I've gotten some good insight just this morning and we spoke to the first voter who was heading in this morning. She lined up more than an hour before. She said she wanted to be here to vote in person. She was voting for Donald Trump because she said what her focus was the economy, the border, and foreign policy. Spoke to two other women who also were early in line, Michael, and they said they voted for Kamala Harris because their main issue this time around is women's rights. One of the women telling us, you don't get to tell me what I do with my body, which really, in just those two interactions, encapsulates what this election is all about, and the two very different realities, basically, that it seems that the candidates are offering at the end of this campaign. What are you hearing from your listeners and from everyone you're interacting with in Pennsylvania on not where this campaign began, but where this campaign is ending for people?
You know, if you were a half hour further north, closer to me, maybe that number one voter in the morning would have been my mom, because I think she's already been to the polls. I think this is a nice encapsulation of where the race is nationally, right? For women, it's largely about abortion rights, the way that it has been. For Republicans, it's about immigration. It's about their perception of the economy. In the big picture sense, the reason why I think where you are and where I am right now is so important is that this is an election that is a battle for suburbia. It used to be, Kate Bolduan, that it would be Philadelphia, versus the rest of the state, beginning with those collar burbs. But the collar burbs, and not just in Pennsylvania, all across America, suburbia has become increasingly Democratic, increasingly purple. I went back and I looked at Pennsylvania maps since I came of age here in 1980, and it's amazing to see the change that has taken place. The rural areas, Republican, the urban areas, Democratic, suburbia, increasingly purple and Democratic.
One thing that we know is votes come in slowly in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And so just because of the rules, and we can talk more about that, but that means that it's very, very likely we won't have a result here in Pennsylvania at the end of the night, maybe not even into tomorrow. And in that lag is where their fear can be stoked and conspiracies can be launched. And we saw that in 2020. And we've heard, even just yesterday, Donald Trump suggesting that if cheating isn't already happening, unfounded his accusation, that it could be happening very soon in Pennsylvania. How is that conversation landing, do you think, this time around, considering the mess post-vote in 2020 that we all lived through?
So I voted by mail, like many other Pennsylvanians. I did it about 10 days ago. 25 minutes ago, when the polls opened, was the first time they could touch my ballot and all the other mail ballots, because we don't allow pre-canvassing. That's what you're describing. And it's a shame. I wish the legislature could get its act together, because then we'd know a victor tonight. But as you point out, the likelihood is that it's going to go into the wee hours of tomorrow morning. And if it's a close election, What I'm most concerned about, and I'm so glad you're bringing this up, is to tell everybody, be cool, keep your powder dry. It doesn't mean that any tomfoolery, any election chicanery has taken place. It's just the way we count our ballots in Pennsylvania. So remember, last time Wolf Blitzer called the election the Saturday after, and that's when CNN was finally able to make a call. And why was CNN able to make a call the Saturday thereafter? Because of Pennsylvania. It could happen again tonight. Then again, if these polls are all off in a similar fashion, maybe it's not as close as people suspect.
That's the fun of today. It could be a long time, or it could be super quick. We'll find out together, and that's the beauty of today, is we really don't know. What I'm noticing now, though, is I'm sitting in a cloud here. The fog has set in at Ben Salem High School, which is really fun. It's great to see you, Michael. Thank you so much. Happy Election Day.
You too, Kate.
All
Thank
right.
you.